Hello and welcome to Smart Tools in 10. I'm Dr. Jeff Langmaid here with Dr. Jason Deitch, where we take 10 minutes and break down different aspects of the Smart Chiropractor that you can utilize to improve your patient communication, improve the effectiveness of your outreach and marketing, and ultimately build and grow your practice. And today, we're going to talk about maybe one of the most important tools in the toolkit, and that is you, your mind, and ultimately how you communicate your message with the people in and around your practice. What we're going to talk about applies to those outbound calls, to inbound calls, to patient history, to examination, to table talk, you name it. We're going to break down two words that I first heard from Jason, so that, and we're going to talk about the importance of those two simple words and how it can really tie together everything that you are communicating to your patients. Jason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. This is a fantastic topic. We were training with some of our high-end clients this morning, working with their teams, going through a lot of the role playing of, how do you be most effective on the phones, which is different than how do I follow my script? And that's different than, what do I say on the call? It is how do I be most effective on my call? And, really where this comes from is, when people communicate, when people don't respond to you the way you want them to, you got to sort of dissect why. Is it the time of day you're calling? Is it the way you're calling? Is it how you're introducing yourself? Is it what you're saying? Is it what they're hearing? All of the above. But one of the sort of, almost always fix-it solutions when there is an ability to fix it, and that isn't always, is making sure that when you explain something, when you ask something, you are super clear as to why you're asking about it or asking for it. And that's really where the two words "so that" come in. So for example, if we titled this video, "Watch this great training, you'll learn a lot, it's awesome," that would be true. However, if we said, watch this video so that you can be more effective in your communication, so that you can sign up more new patients in your practice, now we've started connecting some dots as to the outcome, the reason, the, basically value for doing what it is that you're asking them to do. And that's really, I think, sort of one of the biggest challenges when it comes to communication. They say that all communication is a listener's phenomenon, meaning all of us have been in situations with, our relationships or circumstances, and you go, but that's what I said, and that's what I meant, and that was my intention. And they go, that's not what I heard. And ultimately, in some way, that's all that really matters is what they heard. And the same thing will be true with people, whether you're making recalls or at your table talk or talking with your staff or patients, clients, and family members. Bonus is that the more you can articulate the outcome or the benefit to the listener to listen and or to do what you're asking them or inviting them to do, like, can I schedule a call with you so that I can explain to you about our new programs or our new telehealth or our new practice rules and so on, so that you can come to our practice and enjoy the benefits safely or whatever it may be. But always, I'll call it translating your message, your intentions into what the listener needs to know in order to make it valuable to them to want to do what you're asking. That's really, I think, one of the biggest, I'll say, values of using the two words so that you can be most effective in your communication.
You're exactly right. And there's three things that come to mind for me. This really translates across all of your communication, but I want to outline three specific points in time where this potentially has just really makes a difference type power, right? One of those is when you're talking with patients on the phone and letting them know, let's say a recall, for example. Again, we're calling you today so that insert benefit here, right? The benefits of the care. And that sets the stage for why you're doing so. Now, without diving too deep, I'll jump to the second and third. The second ultimately is when you're taking your case history, right? Hey, Jason, I'm so glad you came into the practice today. I want to ask you a few questions so that I can get a great understanding of what's going on specifically with you and make the best care recommendations so that you can reach your goals, right? So that's another example. And then the third one would be when you are delivering your report of findings or ultimately your care or treatment plan, right? Hey, I'd love, again, think about the difference between I'd like to see you, 3 times this week. Right? It's like, well, why, right? I'd like to see you 3 times this week so that we can get on a perfect course for you to get back to doing the things you love. So it really, and I was saying this to Jason right before we started, I view it almost as it's a great phrase to tie together, what you're thinking with what the patient's desiring, right? And when you can link those two things together, it can be incredibly impactful. And that's where, Jason, you were diving deep earlier on some of the calls specifically regarding recalls. And the phrase is just so critically important.
Yeah. It's going to help your staff a lot because they're caught between a rock and a hard place. And, we all know that there's 10 top priorities at least, right? So it's really difficult. And the truth is that when it comes to recalls, that often goes to the bottom of the list. Why? It's somewhat invisible. It's not like cleaning up the front desk where you know if it was done or wasn't done. It's not like, taking care of people who are in the practice. Again, if it's done, if it's not done. This is one of those things that is really easy to slip through the cracks. The unfortunate part is that it often does slip through the cracks because you usually do it when you're slow, and then you do it and get busy, which means that unless you have systematized what we're talking about in a way that keeps it congruent, you'll likely stop doing what got you the results, which means you'll go on the yo-yo or the roller coaster of we're slow, we'll do what it takes to get busy. We're busy, we'll forget to do it because we're too busy. Then we'll stop doing it, we'll get slow again. So when you really focus on making recalls part of your congruent system, part of your scheduled tasks, a priority as high as all the others, that's going to really help you. I'm going to not even just go here, I'm going to go here because of momentum. That when you're following really all of the different tactics we put together, what you should notice happening is that you're really closing or patching the holes in the bucket called your practice. All these new people come in it, and if you don't patch the holes, then everybody who comes in eventually comes out. Our recommendation for you is to make sure that you are attracting the right type of people that want your type of care, because if you can do those two things right, then typically those people stay. Now, that doesn't mean they're coming 3 times a week for the rest of their lives. It just means that their goals align with your goals. And if you're the kind of practice that's focused more on relationship type care as opposed to just transactional care, then what you're doing is building a relationship. Now, that's up to you, your clinical skills, and the type of person you're attracting to determine whether that's once a week, once a month, once every 6 months, once a year. That's your clinical skill, and that's sort of in between you and the type of client you're speaking to and working with. But keeping recalls on a steady, regular, consistent, tactical basis, and then making sure you are making those recalls with optimal communication strategies so that you get the best return in the least amount of time is absolutely the way to go.
That's it. Really, and recalls shouldn't always just be the people who missed the individual, the person, the man, the woman, the child that just happened to miss an appointment, right? This needs to be a foundational strategy where you're reaching out longitudinally to people on a consistent basis. So as we dive into our last minute here, I guess we can announce it. We have some exciting news coming down the pipe. We're going to have a 5-step reactivation protocol that we'll be releasing later this week. We'll be sure to do a video or 2 about that as we'll dive through each of those 5 steps. But to start to frame that, get you ready for it, and really to utilize with the patients that you're seeing, whether it's this afternoon where you're at or tomorrow, if you've kind of closed up shop for the day, utilize those 2 words. Try a conversation by utilizing so that, see how that conversation feels. Discover the connection that you can make with that person by really highlighting the benefit that you're providing them. That's what it's all about. Keep doing the great work. Keep commenting, engaging with us in this group. That's what this is all about. And be sure to share those wins because we love to see when you are successful. That is what it is all about for us. So have a great night. For Dr. Jason, I'm Dr. Jeff. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor. We are posting videos on how you can market your chiropractic practice in a way that teach and invites consistently. We have found that is the magic formula to big time growth. So if you like this video, be sure to comment down below, smash that subscribe button, or visit us at thesmartchiropractor.com.